Welcome. This is the Beyond Take Two podcast brought to you by Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. I am your host, Madge.
And I'm your host, Veronica.
And today we have a special guest with us today, a man that is filled with technical knowledge,
Yes.
A whole bunch of experience within the entertainment industry. Is an absolute honor to have you here.
Absolutely.
Mr. Jeffrey Chu is in the building, everybody.
Woo!
Give it up. How you doing today, Jeffrey?
I'm good. Thank you, Madge, for having me. Veronica, thank you for having me.
Oh, man, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Now, we wanted you here. You're an experienced cinematographer within the industry, worked on a lot of films, feature films, short films. Just tell us a little bit about your experience and, the things that you've done, where you're from, everything.
I was born and raised in Taiwan. Then I came to U.S. when I was like 20, 21. Then I studied English.
Nice.
I went to Santa Monica College.
Okay.
Then later on, I graduated. I moved to Bay Area. Finally graduated from San Francisco State.
Okay.
I studied cinema, and yeah, that's how my. But prior to that, I early at my age, like 14, 15,
Nice.
I already studied photography. My dad had a camera, and then he started sharing his photography with me, and I had this interest. So at that time, I will be like there's a lot of a social turmoil,
Right.
protest, and
Yeah.
so I feel like when you have a camera on the street as a student and capture those
Moments.
violent, dramatic stuff on the street, you also put yourself in danger. So you feel like you have a purpose, right? You feel like I'm gonna show people who are not here this moment from my perspective. So you will feel like, and you go develop the film, you print it, you edit it on the newspaper, school newspaper, and that's how I started applying photography in a lot of things, and also not only limited in just taking pictures, but also I have a bunch of teachers teach like art teachers, so also opened up your perspective and what imagery can do. Yeah, that's kind of like how I started, how I get into photography.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what was like your first big project that you were able to jump on board as a cinematographer?
Mm, good question.
Many.
I think there's
There's a lot.
several things, like your first film. That's a big moment.
Right.
I was pretty lucky that I did my first film in 1999. I remember that. That's still film, right? There's HD back then. But I was to stress on that point. It's just like I'm the transition, like the last bit of people from analog into digital.
Okay.
So that first film, everything shot on film, shot in the Bay Area, a romantic comedy. I always feel like you have interest in doing something. Right? There's a lot of people maybe watching this.
Yeah.
I always feel like you gotta at least give yourself a chance to try it out.
Right.
First of all, whether you really like it or not. Maybe you don't like it because you just heard of it. Working on film.
Right.
And second was like, are you capable of? Is your skill sets allow you to do that?
Right.
Not enough. Then what do you do? So you just have to kind of go through that.
The process.
And the process to know the whole scope, like not having the right schedule, not holding a decent 9 to 5 job. Can you sustain that? And this is like the whole package.
Right.
And then when you did that, the first film, you feel like, I just fell in love with it, I still remember the director was a good friend of mine. we finished that first film, the last after we wrapped, and just for, after we wrapped a couple of days, I was so depressed. You don't know what to eat for lunch. People bring you, food like on the film set. You don't have to
Right.
think about those things
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
30, 40 days.
And it made you depressed?
Yeah, you feel like sense of
just kinda
loss.
sad,
Like, oh,
yeah.
where's everybody? Where's the party is over?
Yeah.
So that was the first one.
And it's parting ways. It's parting ways with your like production with it's like a team that
Yeah.
you guys have, and I have those experiences because I'm in I work in film, right? I do craft service and stuff, and you're with the crew for so long, and you do feel a little depressed once like you move on to the next, and you never see those people again, especially if it was just a good energy and
Right.
you guys end up becoming family on set.
Yeah, and then especially the first film is
Yeah.
not like it's well organized, but it's
Yeah.
not like a professional Hollywood,
Yeah.
like a union crew,
Right.
right? I remember sometime during lunch, someone will pull a guitar out of the grip truck and start singing, that kind of thing. Especially in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
everyone has a multiple talents.
Right.
Right.
Someone will read a poetry.
Yes,
Yes.
and everyone's working behind
Right.
camera.
Right.
So everybody has a
That's a
talent. You're
very-
absolutely right.
That's a
Yeah.
sweet memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Memory.
I had that part ways with Glee when I was on that show Glee, the musical.
Yeah.
It was like my first time getting in the union. We were shooting at Paramount, and it was like my home. Right, we were there Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 2:30, and I would make sure like all the sets were clean before talent came on stage by 8 a.m. And it was like that I was on the show for the last 2 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was right after I think the main character passed away. But I was there for the last 2 seasons, and just parting ways with them, it really, really it was weird, crazy, because I just got my days in the union, and I was like, this is film, this is TV, this is what it is, this is, and you just build those connections, and it's
Right.
like crazy because it doesn't stop there. When you keep going and you're on different productions, it's just you get close with these people, and it's just a beautiful thing. Film, the people, and it just coming together and creating something special is really
Those
I
experiences
agree.
are very valuable.
They are.
And you become a bar that you gauge everything you do.
Right.
Back then, we,
Yeah.
My first film, somebody brought out the guitar. Y'all
Right.
play nothing.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
agree.
Cool.
Okay. So you always remember your first. What was the name of that first one? You remember the name of the title of it?
Let me see.
It wasn't like
Man,
Sleepless in
I
Seattle or
went
something. Was it?
blank. We have a few actor and actress like Jason Bear,
Okay.
Marina Black, and one British actress. Oh man, how can I? Faye Masterson.
Okay.
I remember
Wow.
her name
Okay.
because prior to the film, we want to check out who we work with.
Right.
Yeah.
So Faye Masterson is a British actress, really, really talented actress. So let's check out what she did
Yeah.
in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And we saw on IMDb, her last film was Ice White Shot.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It was like,
That's a huge
she
fucking
just
movie.
big. Yeah.
with Kubrick.
Yeah.
It's like we're working with someone who just finished working with Kubrick and Tom Cruise.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big.
So, but also I learned that just be professional.
Yeah.
I feel like you on such a green person on the set working with those professionals.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the movie Happily Even After.
Happily Even After?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
movie about fairy godmother and
Ah,
So-
okay.
so I just learned to be professional because when you talk to those actresses, it's like, how am I gonna ask her to
Yeah.
do certain things
Yeah.
for the camera? But I feel like if you just be honest and tell them, actress, no, oh, a DP asked me to do something. Why? Favor me certain angle or whatever.
Yes.
They will teach me like how to use those lingos to communicate with them.
Right.
Like say, so Faye, can you walk this way to the land on your mark? It's like, oh, you want me to walk a banana, not a straight line. You want me
Yeah.
to curve.
All kind of curves.
Right.
Looks better on screen,
Interesting.
right?
Yes.
So yeah, I learned a lot from
The
them too.
terminology of film, right? You want me to walk a banana.
Yeah,
Interesting.
or
Never heard of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's dope. Oh, all right.
yeah, interesting. That's a first time experience. Yeah.
Now, Jeffrey.
Mm.
Now, I worked with you on set before, and you're hard on set. Do you think you are very like? I remember I'm holding the boom mic. And you was like, Mash, get that boom mic out of here. We don't need that
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
he takes it serious.
And I looked and
Yeah.
I was like, Jeffrey, you talk to me like
Yeah.
That's good though. You're like all about, getting everything.
I may not aware,
Yeah.
but it's good to know. But I feel like just on the set, it's like I think sometimes people shift to a different personality.
Yeah.
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 Just all about being
It's like
professional.
Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. You Sasha Fierce when
Just-
you
just want to get it done. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
I have to apologize. I really jumped the gun, and we got started pretty quickly,
Yes.
and we missed our first segment. I'm sorry,
We
Jeffrey.
did miss our first segment.
What is the first segment?
I'm sorry.
Wait.
So let's jump into our buttered up section. Our buttered up
Yes.
segment. We have a new popcorn today. It is by GH Craters.
Yes. And it is a
Readers.
cheese caramel.
Cheese and caramel mix. So I mean, Veronica, you could do
Oh my god, me
honors.
first?
Yes.
Oh no, I'm gonna let Jeffrey try it first.
You got on all white, so make sure you spill the cheese on you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I am not
It's gonna look
gonna
like
listen.
it's gonna look
I'm
like
not-
Cheeto crumbs on
I'm
your
not gonna
sweater.
listen. I'm not gonna listen to you. Here, Jeffrey, you try it first.
Okay, I'll get a caramel one.
So this is a cheese.
You have to
and-
try them both
You
together.
gotta try both of them.
The
You have to,
savory
like-
and salty all together.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about the cheese? Did you try the cheese? Do you like the cheese? You like it? Yeah. Was it good? Okay.
All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, Jeffrey, what do you give this popcorn?
Wow. I'll say 8.
I'll give it an 8.
8 9. Really high regard. I can finish the whole bowl by myself.
I mean, I want to try it, but Veronica looked like she
Oh my god.
good.
Here you go.
I got to bring y'all some Garrett's. Have y'all had Garrett's
Okay.
before?
I rate that a 10.
Really? Yeah.
A 10?
10. I rated a 10.
You are.
That is so caramel and cheese together. I'm taking that home. If you don't eat it all, mash.
It's just pretty good. Actually.
Not talk.
It's good, right? But you have to eat it together, like the cheese and the caramel together.
Oh, this is the Chicago mix. This is how they do it in Chicago.
Really?
Cheese and caramel.
Well, shout out to Chicago. You guys know how to eat your popcorn.
Oh.
So good.
Well,
It's really good. I've
Yeah.
had better.
Really?
I'm gonna go 8.5. It's really good
8 and a
though.
half.
You're hard. You're hard.
I've just had better.
You like the butter one? The butter and salt, like a melt butter?
That's his favorite. We had,
This is good. No,
Yeah.
this is good. This is an 8.5. This is really good.
yeah, well, shout out to Cretters, GH Cretters, your caramel and cheese. I give it a 10. It's delicious.
Send us some more.
Send us some more, please. I need some for the house, too. So,
There you go.
yeah, the
Okay.
family would love that. Look at now, Jeffrey.
So I have an idea for the
Put it down.
the buttered up segment. It's I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna surprise you. I'm not gonna tell you about it. I'm gonna surprise y'all. I'm gonna surprise. I might put it on this recording. We'll see. We'll see. It's it'll be funny though. You'll like it. You'll
Okay.
like it. Let me get some water.
So,
That's really good. The caramel is good.
yeah.
That caramel is really good.
Crunchy.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. And the cheese is not too cheesy. Just a good amount. It's real good. You look like you're thinking about it. Why are you thinking about it still?
And your hands doesn't get all dirty.
Yeah, they don't get crazy.
Yeah.
Now, Garrett's, your hands are going to get filthy. It's going to look like that Cheetos commercials where you got like the cheese left on your fingers.
Oh, I like that.
That's how
And then you
Garrett's
get
is.
to lick them off after.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Look at Cannonball.
All right. So, it's my headphones. Okay. So, Jeffrey, like, what is it about cinematography that kind of that brings out the movie? Because I'm a big believer in like your cinematographer could really make or break your movie. We get a lot of submissions for the film festival and everything. And like it's the first thing that I notice, like, oh, you don't have a good cinematographer.
Yeah.
Your framing is bad, the color is bad, the angle, you know what I'm saying? You don't know the angles of how when two people are conversing, like boom and boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like where do you get this knowledge from? Like what can you tell these filmmakers that need this knowledge? Like where can they get it from? Because cinematography is so important for your film.
Yeah.
Right. I think I see that cinematography is facilitating the storytelling.
Mm.
I think, but that's easy to say. I think um, you also need to have knows what your means are, right? Your
Mm.
resource. So you don't want to shoot on you don't want to aim for something that you're just
You
not
can't
capable
make
of
right,
doing,
right,
right?
Yeah.
right.
Because every film has this limitation in terms of time. If you
Hmm.
never finish, then you don't have a film.
Right,
Yeah.
So I
right.
think the cinematographer, it's like part of it is an art, part of it is craft,
Right.
experience,
Mm.
and
Right.
knowing your means and finding the right approach within that within that resource.
Hmm.
But taking that away, I feel like it has to fits the story,
Mm.
the energy. We're not quite creating beautiful pictures. We're creating like proper, suitable,
Hmm.
that can help the filmmaker to
Mm.
tell the story.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may involve shaky camera. You may want to be out of focus. You
Hmm.
Mm.
may want to underexpose certain things. If you trying to help to build, let's say, suspense,
Hmm. Yeah.
danger, trying to. We also like I'm a lot of things I'm saying is just like I'm hearing from all those masters talking, right?
Yeah.
I remember like Gordon Willis says something like we are visual psychiatrists. I
Mm.
want to
Right.
manipulate you. I want you to scare first, and I
Right.
want you to feel hopeless, and then I want you to see the light in the tunnel.
Mm.
Just
Yeah.
even that description, you're trying to manipulate your viewer into a certain state of mind or
Yeah.
mood. So, so yeah, but saying that you still need to know your craft,
Hmm.
Right.
when to do what,
Mm.
Yeah.
when is not when is overdoing. Um, yeah, like Veronica and I would talk about a lot of working with actors, right?
Right.
If you notice, this is a really important moment for her
Mm.
as a
Yeah.
character and
Hmm.
performer. Maybe you just want to record it,
Hmm.
not trying to do too much of it.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
gotta be secure of your material,
Yeah.
your talent,
Mm.
Yes.
so they can deliver. So you just know at that moment you don't want to do too much. Do
Yeah.
too much meaning like you don't want to like jib arm this and that 360 turning around. You're distracting. You're distracting the material. You're
Right.
distracting the moment. That talents that can you gotta just trust them. They can do that.
Right.
So
So it's
so
like
yeah.
it's like creating the perfect setting for the
Hmm.
actors to
Hmm.
kind of do their
Yeah.
thing. It's
Look at things from a bird's eye view more.
mm.
Like we as a filmmaker, we all like actor, musician, probably we all have gone through that. We
Hmm.
trying to mimic something,
Hmm.
trying
Mm.
to pay homage to certain things, right? You just want to have that thing of your own version.
Yeah.
Mm.
But that's kind of like a impromptu feeling. Like every scene, every location, every scenario,
Right.
you have something pop in your head. It's like, I've seen this somewhere. I want to try to do it,
Yeah.
Mm.
which is great. But you're not thinking of things overall as a whole.
Right.
Mm.
You know, so younger filmmaker may, I want to try this. I want to try this tool. I want to try this look in that movie. But I think once you try everything, it's like, what's next?
Right.
And you gotta go back to the
Right.
most original things, right?
Like
Well,
the
I did that before.
fundamentals.
Yeah, the fundamental
Yeah.
things, you know, just calm yourself down and understand the material, work with your director, and I think you can find the proper way to give them maximize your resources and tell the story visually.
Now,
Find your battle,
right.
right?
So what is it like working with a director? Because it feels like sometimes like you're the director on the set. You know what I mean? Like, so how is that? How do you balance that? You know, with the director kind of giving his orders and
Yeah. How do you connect
needing
with
to
the
give.
actors too?
Yeah.
How do you connect with your actors?
I think directors are more because that's the first person usually you talk about the project at the very early stage,
Right.
right? I'm saying in the normal passionate indie movie,
Right.
people trying to pull each other together and trying to make something. And oftentimes think like a DP relationship with the director, almost like a couple. You got to be so honest to each other.
Yeah.
You got to endure each other's pet peeves or shortcomings.
Right.
You just be honest about the film. I think that's a because the director is the one usually have all the answers. You know, sometimes I'm jokingly saying that as a writer director, you should know your character's underwear. It's
Yeah.
tidy whitey or boxer or what
Right.
color he wear.
Yeah.
Meaning that you got to know everything. And then
Everything.
on the set, actor has questions, DP, art, makeup. You know, we all
And you need to
have
be able
questions.
to
Like
answer
at this
that.
moment of time, what are we doing?
Right.
So I think the director's job is really answer question. You don't
Right.
need to know how to turn on the camera or turn off the
Right.
camera. You don't have
Right.
to know that, but you got to
Right.
know if we ask you. So what's this guy's underwear color? You should be able to have
An answer.
write an
for it.
essay about why she wear this thing.
Right.
You know,
And-
like you just had to know so much.
And have you ever had anyone question your vision on set? Like you already.
Constantly.
Yeah. Okay.
I think constantly.
How do you handle that?
Even you yourself
Yeah.
should question yourself, right? I mean, I think we all easy to jump into something and get excited and say, oh, here.
Right.
And the DP is so dangerous. Like once you put the camera here, everybody look at the frame as
Yeah.
if this is the thing.
So how do you handle that?
But you gotta take a step, just take a deep breath,
Yeah.
right? Constantly working and think, is there a better way? Can I step back? Should I move forward? Do I need another layer of it? You're constantly calculating things, right? Do I have enough time? You know, is it worth it to do this and instead of that?
Right.
What can I gain if I change my plan? So you constantly changing that. Now, usually the director. That's why I think we love indie project,
Yeah.
passion project because you don't have to answer to so many people.
Yeah.
But of course, I work on commercials and an agency can come over and say, "Oh, we don't like the color of the floor. How about we move all the furniture and then change the floor of color, and then we
Yeah.
come back and shoot it." Yeah, I've done that. Yeah,
That's
we have done
interesting.
like just ready to go, and client will say, "We don't like the floor
It's
color."
like that. Yeah. Yeah.
But just like I said, be professional.
film.
Because
Professional, right.
I am also like speaking of challenging
Yeah.
ideas. Like you know, a client they will take 30-second international, like a national commercial.
Right.
How much research they have to do.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so much science go behind it, whether
Right.
you believe in it or not.
Yeah.
Right.
But when the agency tells you this is our clientele, this is how we model, this is how we do things.
Right.
I think, yeah. I mean, that's why it's a very different mentality when you're in the film or in a commercial
Right.
It's so crazy because
project. Yeah.
I do not like those moments. I hate those moments when they randomly come on stage. Like you get the producers and all the big people come in after you do all the work on stage, right? Like we're busting our asses. Excuse my language. But we're working so hard. We're busting our asses. We do exactly what the floor plan is, what the blueprint is, right? And it's something so tedious, but it's something that takes so much time, right? We're ready to shoot, and we're hoping we're getting off at least in 10 hours, 12 hours.
Right.
They come in and they're just like, it could be a big, heavy wall, like lip sync battles, for instance. They had such heavy, heavy, tall walls, and the grips really, one grip, wall fell on them. And he had to go home. Yeah, it was one of the guys that I work with on The Voice. He had to go to the hospital. I think he broke his ribs. And hurt himself really bad. It was a heavy, heavy metal wall, but it's to that point where it's crazy, where they're like, oh, we don't want that there, or we don't want, it's just so tedious.
Right.
It's just crazy. And that's film, So we already know, oh, they're coming in. We're going to have to change something. So we're not going home in 10 hours, guys. Don't look forward to that.
I mean, does it feel like they just do it on purpose? Like
sometimes it does. So like on certain shows that are new shows, that's when they're really tedious because a lot of these people are new. Maybe they have been in the game for a long time. I'm not sure. But a lot of new shows, they're very tedious. Like, oh, no, black that out, which is easy. But like when it comes to flooring or like, oh, we don't like that. We're going to take that out. And it's just kind of like, oh, my God. Like, no one's going to see that, but when it shows like The Voice, that I work on, and we've been on that show for so many years, and for so many seasons, that's when it's like, okay, we can get away with it, because they've already done it for so many seasons that it's like they already know what's going to show and what's not and what's a big deal and what's not.
Right.
But it's the new shows that you're like, oh, no, now these people are going to be really picky, unless you get a production that has been doing shows with you for a long time where you're like, oh, they're a cool production. Like they're good. They don't do that. Okay. So it's just certain people that are very picky.
Now, is it like does it feel like the people know what they're doing or like know what they're asking for?
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they see a vision and we do it and the grips and stuff, they make it happen.
Yeah.
And then they don't like it. They're like, oh, no. And they're like, take it out. No. And it takes time. It's not like take it out and we're going to shoot in 10 minutes. It's like this takes time and we might need to extend another day for shoot or, and sometimes that's just the way it happens.
Interesting.
So,
because I know, like in music, people are always like, these executives don't know what they're looking for. They don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's like kind of like the same thing. Like, are these movie executives or TV executives like? Do they actually have a vision, or are they just like?
Yeah, sometimes they do. I think a lot of them have a vision, but sometimes it doesn't work out. The way they see it, or sometimes on camera it doesn't look right.
It doesn't look the same.
And they're like, okay. Is this not going to work? But we get pissed off because, we're dealing with the hard work. I'm dealing with the cleaning on stage and it's kind of like, oh my God, really? But, that's part of film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, what was your most like difficult film that you've done? Like where it was just like a constant headache every day, going back and forth with the director.
Yes.
Tell us about that type of experience.
We want to know that.
Wow. I have a lot.
And we need names and receipts.
Yes. Shout them out.
I have a lot of terrible experience on it, but I think back, it's all due to like a production not paying enough attention to the crew's needs. It's a neglect, right? Like just
Jeffrey's talking about everything.
Okay, so when you talk about the production and the crew, I'm a 5-year-old. Explain to me what you mean.
Production is who has the usually
the control,
organizing, conducting, planning how things should be falling into space, into places. Was like a bigger plan of things, like scheduling.
Yeah.
At what time? What do we do? Do what?
Okay.
Right. Those are production, but you need people like Veronica, like myself, like. A lot of people.
Crew. That's when the crew comes in
to execute this thing.
Yeah.
But if the production doesn't only think about this thing and not paying attention to so the crew, right? Crew
Right.
has needs. Like if there's like multiple days, they need a place to rest. If
Yeah.
there's like long hour, they need to have meals, right?
Meals
You know,
throughout the
think
day.
simple
Yeah.
things like that.
Right.
I think the horrible experience I had is like just due to the neglection of the production.
Yeah.
Like usually they're the production like back in China. I by the way I also worked 10 years in China.
Right.
That's
Right.
so
Right.
amazing.
So they yeah I remember I had to take care of the crew to feed them.
You had to do it yourself.
Yeah
So
yeah
you had to be craft service for the day?
yeah. Like I gave you a scenario. Like I have done a commercial for Haya
Okay.
Okay.
in the South Island of China. That's
Okay.
like a Chinese Hawaii.
Okay. Okay.
Like
Nice.
northern people, when it's too cold, they come down to this island
Okay.
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 to enjoy their New Year, like in January.
Yep.
So we want to make a commercial for them.
Okay.
So we flew in from Shanghai. We hired some local people,
Okay.
but they since they're local, they just feel like they can go in and out when they need to
When they
come. They
want
will
to.
arrive, but you gotta know like those hotel, like fancy hotel, are excluded area. Once they
Right.
come, suddenly they can go back home and tomorrow come to work. So they just ended up. No one is like in the limbo or lingering or they're not because some of the crew
But
like
then it had nowhere to stay.
right.
Oh wow.
And plus we working long hours.
Yeah.
We
Right.
gotta
Right. Right.
carry a big crane to the beach so we can do a big shots. You know when the sun comes up. You know
Yeah.
things like that,
On
crazy stuff.
location, right?
Yeah, very labor intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just remember I have a per diem in that hotel. I think I have 500 RMB. It's like about I have $100 a day,
Okay.
US dollar a day
Okay.
to eat in this
Okay.
restaurant, in this
They took
hotel.
care of
Right.
you on that.
So of course I couldn't finish $100 a day.
Right.
I mean, so I just had to share with the local crew, and then the
Right.
local crew is so cute. I remember one guy told me, I say, order anything you want from the
Yeah,
menu. Let's sit
yeah.
down, have a meal,
That's so
then we'll go
sweet
back
of
to
you,
work
Jeffrey.
because they don't belong to
Yeah, because they don't get the per diem.
crew.
You guys do.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I just remember one guy opened up the menu and say, Jeffrey, this is the most expensive bowl of noodle I have ever had in my life.
God.
Just give you a perspective. If you go on the street, like you want to have a bowl of noodle, probably 5 RMB, like
Okay.
Chinese, 5, maybe 10.
Okay.
And over there was like 50. Like
Damn.
maybe like 5-6 times of
Really?
what you have
What you would
outside the
get.
street.
Right,
Yeah, that's
right.
because you're in a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I remember that. Yeah, those are when you're going through the grinding, right, and you have to take care of people. You see,
Yes.
you yourself is already like
Yeah.
you know in the string like you're squeezing the last effort to do this thing, and then you have to take care of a bunch of other people.
Other
Right.
people.
Yeah,
right.
that's something. Yeah, usually, I mean, luckily, like over the years, like my set has always been really safe. No one really get hurt or
Right.
that was.
Yeah.
Or super cold. I also work in a super cold, miserable cold situation. Yeah, those are tough.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yep. It doesn't stop. Sometimes even in the rain, it doesn't stop. But I also wanted to touch on, getting back to you on set, right? As a director, what experiences have you had with actors? As far as we were talking about, how they're present and they know like where they stand, like within the lens frames and stuff. I wanted you to touch on that.
I think we just touched on that because we do the same thing, but
Yeah.
we're from different discipline.
Right.
So I feel like on the set, like I try to, if I got time, I'll go figure out what production design are doing.
Right.
You know, what wallpaper they just picked up, what
Yeah.
curtain cloth material
Right.
they just picked up. You want to go poke around wardrobe. You also want to know what they're doing. So I feel like so I feel like talent and camera is a dance.
Yeah.
So knowing each other's craft,
Exactly.
it helps. And but there is a fine line. Like usually on a set, I don't really mingle chit chat with talent because I don't know what they're doing. They may not. They may just sit there, but you don't know they're building something.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
don't know what's going through their
Their
mind.
minds. Right.
Right? If I go joke around and poke around, you just don't respect because they may go into a scene that doesn't really need this conversation,
Right.
or director will say, "Hey, well, it's kind of distracting." So I always really keep the crew, myself, trying to just read the situation,
Yeah.
right? And you're trying to give actor space, and
Yeah.
that's first thing to respect them,
Right.
and just I also pick up from talent like the story, the anecdote I told, like the lingo, the way you explain certain thing, and then sometimes you just build a trust. I think the trust is so important, like cameraman, camera crew, and the talent, because to be honest, like actors are really vulnerable in front of a camera, right? There's so many eyes staring at them. Director can tell them do anything. So imagine you're in that position, right?
Right,
So you
right.
want to extra, you want to respect them, even like no eye contact. I tell my crew don't have eye contact with
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You know.
Like even the camera assistant following the focus, you're not supposed to staring into your talent when you do the focus.
Yeah.
You should just you can look at them, but
Yeah.
don't have eye contact. Because imagine you're an actor, you raise your heads and like so many eyes staring
Right.
at you.
Yeah.
Who you should look at? It's
Yeah.
distracting, right?
Yeah, to
Interesting.
talk about that, I worked on two shows. I worked on an Apple show with Jessica Alba, and I worked on a World of Dance with J Lo, and yeah, they were saying don't make eye contact with them. Yeah, I was told. But yeah, like I agree, and I feel like you should give the talent their space,
Yeah.
and there's not only that, especially with women, on set. There's just also with like so many men too on set, and it's kind of like there's certain things that go on, and I feel like they need their respect, their space, and I totally agree on with not
Yeah.
making eye contact. Why would you want to make eye contact anyways? You
Right.
know what I
There's
mean?
a
It's
respect
like
in the human
give
level,
people-
but there's also
yeah.
another respect in the professional level.
yes, and
Right.
people have
You-
so many negative things to say about that.
Yeah, you help each other out.
Yeah.
To
And it's like, I don't want anyone making eye contact with me unless we're having a conversation, okay?
Right,
But I mean, leave them
It's
alone.
interesting. I watched this show called Chicago PD,
yeah.
and a girl that was a lady that was in the first like 2 or 3 seasons, she had left, and I remember reading like after she had left, like why'd you leave?
Yeah.
And she was just saying like, I was doing a lot of these intimate scenes, and I was just getting very uncomfortable. Like the producers would look at me a certain way,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean. And everybody has like all this digital footage of me.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. So it kind of made her feel weird, where she
That's
wanted to actually
kind of
leave.
something I love that you brought that up because as an actress, me as an upcoming actress too, it's that's kind of things that happen, and those are experiences that people sometimes don't even share and they kind
Right.
of keep it to themselves. And that's good that she shared that, and she, and sometimes you do have to speak about that kind of stuff because of a lot of things that go on in the industry as far as like sex, harassment and stuff like that.
All right.
I don't want to get into that too much, but
Well, like what is it? Have you done a movie where it's like intimate scenes, sex scenes,
Yeah.
things like that? Like what is that like? I mean, that has to be like a crazy experience. I mean, just for the actors involved, the
Yes.
people having to watch it. Like what is that experience like? Like having to do those types of scenes.
I think just keep it keep it minimum, right? Keep it private. If it's a private scene, keep it private, um, and just be respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The language that you use, and be clear about what you're trying to achieve, so they
Right.
also understand. Yeah, just make them feel protected.
Yeah.
Feel like you're their best. You're their best, and you're keeping maintain the best interest
Right.
of them, not being exposed
Right.
or
Right. Right.
yeah.
Right.
It's just you understand that's difficult,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's not. You have to be. Really depends. You got to read a situation. Sometimes you want to ease it. You have a you know harmless joke just to ease the tension, and
Yeah.
I mean feel like we're in a team trying to finish this. So and then the best whatever I do is to show the best side of you.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta also trust that. So uh, yeah, yeah. Usually those things are done quickly
Yeah. Yeah.
because you know.
Just to kind of
Yeah, I
get
think
through
Get it
it.
over
that's
with.
that's
Right.
my experience because
Yeah.
those moments happen. Genuine moment doesn't last a long time,
Yeah.
Right.
and
Right.
visually showing those things are just showing the beauty of it. Yeah, so a lot of suggested frame,
Right.
that kind of
Right.
thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Usually
Interesting.
it's really fun to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any current projects that you're working on right now?
Um. Yeah. I'm going into a feature film in. I'll be
Awesome.
shooting. March, sometime March.
Nice. Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about it, or is it kind of like under
Confidential.
wraps?
No, I can talk about it. But I just don't know too much about it.
Oh,
But I
okay.
can tell from my perspective, it's like this is my just so maybe people listening that what kind of production we're talking about. I'm back in LA, so I'm starting get team up with the directors, the filmmakers, and
Yeah.
then this is my like third or fourth like BET,
Nice.
Lifetime,
Awesome.
Paramount Plus, that type of production.
Okay.
A lot of Christmas movie. I just realized there's so many
Yeah.
movies
Right.
about Christmas,
Right.
related to Christmas.
Right.
So I'm pretty good at it right now.
Okay.
Like the keep maintain that the Christmas also have a theme like hopeful, about family, about
Yes.
finding
Love.
yourself,
Yes.
love, about loneliness. We also don't want to. A lot of people during holiday are really lonely.
About things that happen, right? In
Yeah,
regular life with family members and stuff.
yeah.
It's
It's a
normal.
special
Yeah.
holiday season. You got to deal with family. So yeah, I a lot of movies, even though it's science fiction, is still about family. Right?
Yeah.
Breaking Bad is about family.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
House of Cards about family.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
about
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
family.
Love
Right.
So
love
Right.
that.
so
Love
I
those
love those
films.
themes. I
Yes.
can kind of repetitively understanding. Also understanding, oh, this is the type of genre you gotta respect,
Right.
and
Right.
how to do it efficiently, how to do it. Again, like I said, maximize your resources because money is not. It's never enough, right? They give
Yeah.
you 50 million, they want to make you look like 100 million. It's
Right.
all the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So just be smart and
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoy those small intimate crew. I
Cruise.
really enjoy
I
that. Yeah.
love those intimate cruise too. Yeah. I love them when it's a small crew. It's nice.
Now talk about like big crews, big set. What movie? Have you done that was kind of like a big production? That was kind of crazy.
It's a good one.
Those projects happened back in China, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Tell us about the rewards in China. Like, God,
Oh,
I'm just hearing you're an award winner in China. You're like
oh yeah,
so great.
those awards are.
One of the greatest cinematographers out
I
there.
no, I mean, I'm still learning. I'm still so much learning.
Right.
This I'm just enjoying doing this. But yeah, in China there's a lot of production. We have 50 G&E people. Sometimes I've seen bigger ones like next to the studio, next to
Right.
us. Like I'm wondering, like, if it don't come out and work, nobody knows they
Yeah.
didn't show up on
Yeah.
set just because so many people. No, I've done some production there. I also enjoy doing that because the scale is bigger, right?
In China?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's awesome.
you also got to understand how to, like, being a DP. You also have to understand how to manage people. You know, like mishmash personality, who does what. Yeah, you got to run a team.
Yeah.
You have to work with more with the other departments. You know, you got to have meetings.
Right,
It takes longer to set up
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a pros and cons about big production, small production. Yeah, for us, just trying to make us look cool, right?
Yeah.
Like a Cameron Crowe says, like whatever you write about us on the Rolling Stone,
Make us look
just to make us look cool. I don't care about how you wrote it, you know.
Yeah.
But for us, it's just everything, right? Cultivate into that frame, that imagery, you know, that texture or that mood. Yeah, just bigger scale,
Yeah.
more meeting, takes more time,
Uh-huh.
you know. Yeah.
It's a lot more work.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, like we in China, like just so people who doesn't know, in China they will put everybody in a hotel, like all the crew member, like from G&E to
Yeah.
makeup, wardrobe,
Uh-huh.
art department, everybody, driver. Sometimes a film a driver probably like 20, 30 people. That means 20, 40 different cars.
Damn.
Gosh.
So every morning everyone come down to the hotel and
They take the shuttle
take
or
you
the drivers. Yeah.
to the location.
Nice.
You
Yeah.
come back. No one goes anywhere. You're in the hotel and you go keep meeting. Your editor may be in another suite. You go check in and see how you did it,
So in China,
like that.
I'm unfamiliar with the unions out there. Is there a union in China for film?
No, there's
So is it usually non-union out there for films, or do they like? How's
yeah.
that work?
Usually our union.
Because like as a driver,
There's a convention, like there's
Okay.
a rule of conduct, or this is like a habit, and then the community is big, but it's not that big. So
Okay.
certain leading people will say, someone will send on Instagram and say, from this point on, from next year, we all G&E, our rate is this now.
Got it.
It's
Yeah.
like no one agree and no
Yeah.
one okay with that.
Right.
You can ask for anything you want, but it's just like a market will adjust
Got
it,
it.
right?
Got
The
it.
market will adjust it. Do you have the skill set? What you have done, and that will just reflect on the rate and
Your pay and everything.
the talent pool you're in, right? At what skill production.
Uh-huh.
So similar, but it's just not like we can have a strike or anything.
Interesting.
But sometimes, yeah, sometimes I have to say, well, yeah, sometimes production can really take advantage of crew. But
Can.
but but I think a good production are the production from the top, who some who more or less care about people.
Yeah.
Right,
You
right.
know, if production doesn't care, I don't think they care about their work.
Yeah.
You gotta take care of people.
Yeah.
So people
Take care of the vision.
can work on your
Exactly.
can
Exactly.
wholeheartedly work on your thing.
Exactly.
So yeah, it comes all
It's a
together.
territorial thing too, you know, and not only that, everyone has, you know, their own path of what they do, right, in the industry. As like, we have Teamsters, we have grips, we have lighting. Everybody has their own craft, and a lot of productions, as Jeffrey was saying, taking advantage is basically saying that, sometimes they'll hire like a PA or something to take care of like craft service to give out snacks. And that's like something that we do, so it kind of takes work away from us. Or, they kind of just hire people like, or like for Teamsters, right? That should be the drivers that should be driving, the talent to locations or just doing anything that has to do with driving. They should be Teamsters, but that's only for union jobs. You know what I mean? If it's non-union, they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want, and that's why it's a non-union gig. But to each his own.
So I mean, I would assume like union is much more like professional, is much more.
Yeah, and I've been
little
on a
bit-
non-union gig that has been professional too.
Okay, okay.
So it all depends.
It just all depends on
it all depends on the production.
production. Yeah.
It's always all about the production, and a lot of commercials are non-union too. Right, Jeffrey? Am I right about
I'm
that?
not sure.
Most of the time, a lot of them are non-union.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's changed.
Depending on what kind of commercial, like
Yeah.
you're selling national
Yeah,
or
it depends.
bigger,
Yeah.
involved,
Bigger
more
scales.
involved, like
Yeah.
lock down a street or something. I think that probably union shoe.
I don't know.
So
Yeah.
so Jeff, you say you've been working on a film, some Christmas films. What is like your ultimate goal with this? I mean, you've been doing it for so long. You got some great credit under your belt. What is like your ultimate goal for the cinematography thing?
That's just such a good question, though. As you grow older, whatever you wish for becomes kind of more realistic and more in a more fall into a certain perspective. I will encourage anyone like a younger 20, you should shoot as high as you can, right? You want to win an Oscar or whatnot. But I'm more and more finding out myself like I I don't fancy skill big production. I don't have to be on a production that oh that has certain. Of course, I would love to have that structure, right?
Right.
That support
Right.
to do the things. But I'm sure I also enjoy more smaller scale. But doesn't mean small. You can omit all this proper procedure
Right, the
process.
etiquette, yeah.
You still need to be serious,
Professional.
but which is professional. Like every location, do you look at it? Do you know every scene how to take it? Like it can be scaled down, but it can be good quality and still serious. And you ask me, I feel like as a filmmaker, we all want to have a sense of freedom. And say, oh, you don't have money, so okay. You say you have a big production, you can have a huge truck, anything you want, you can pull out the truck. But does that mean freedom to express what you want to say as a filmmaker?
Right.
There may be different levels of people you have to answer to.
Right.
There is a aim of a target of to reach a certain demographic audience. But when you're doing indie films, like, oh, I have all the freedom I want. I want to tell any kind of story, say anything, but
Right.
you don't have money, you don't have people to help you. It's like,
to back you. Yeah.
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 So I feel like if you ask me what I want, I feel like I'm trying to give myself a chance, put myself in a position that I can have project and worthwhile, good people. So you can constantly working on things with more freedom to express yourself and knowing your means and
Yeah.
yeah. So I feel like that's and also I ask myself like you want to have a value to project.
Yeah.
You also don't want to take every single project. By now I know my sensibility or my current state, like what type of project that fits me.
Right.
If you throw you something you may not want to do. Yeah, so just knowing like I took a class in downtown LA. This DP just inspired me by showing his reel. Every DP will have very flashy reel, big shots, hundreds of people, that kind of stuff. But this DP just show his show reel is just close ups
Yeah.
or
Wow.
very intimate, calm scene. But every single faces in his reel are superstars.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah. You know who they are?
where the strength are, right? So he said, I don't like to do. He's a very famous DP. I
Okay.
can remember his name is a French DP, and he said, I just don't want to go through a lot of meetings. If I do a project like 50 million, 100 million, I had to go to so many meetings. I just love work and shoot things, capture imageries.
Yeah.
An actor has an amazing performance. I just want to be there. So I choose 10, 15, 5 million smaller production. So that I don't have to go through so many meetings. I can
Wow.
work, So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that's probably, they have been there,
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
So they figure out what they satisfy them
Right.
the most.
Right.
But I think for younger audience or younger kids who are just out of school, you should shoot as high and learn as much technology. Embrace, your craft, your art, or
Yeah.
other discipline.
Yeah.
Like you should know as much, so you have potential.
Right. Right.
Right.
Definitely.
And as far as projects, Jeffrey, that come across you come across, for you to take that job, as to be a DP or director, do you have to have like a connection to that project? Like, do you
No.
pass anything on and say, oh, I don't know, like I'm not feeling this project that much, or I'm not feeling this film? Like, how do you deal with stuff that come your way?
Let's say if I have two projects put in front of me, one is it's an indie feature film. Who the director wrote the script, and you can have a cup of coffee, and the director can tell you what he or she reason of writing that. There's a backstory behind it, and you start falling in love to this idea, to this person, to this world. But at the same time, if someone say, "Hey, I want to do a corporate video," you know, don't look down on corporate video. I work on corporate video of shooting a nuclear plant, water, like
Interesting.
gigantic stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like how, like when company building subway system underneath ground in Shanghai, digging the hole through like skyscraper above
Wow.
you, and you're digging it underneath.
That is crazy.
That kind of corporate video, that's humongous,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
But if you say these two projects, I will say I have to pass the bigger skill. I rather be in the. That's where my heart is. You never know. You never
Yeah.
know.
So which one would you choose?
I'll choose the film.
The
I'll
film.
choose the
Okay,
film for
okay.
sure. Yeah.
Cool.
But the reason I'm choosing a very extreme example of corporate video could be I also don't want people to think or look down on certain. If you can do a great 30-second infomercial,
Right, right.
that's great. Like people stick in your mind and fun to watch. So every different project you can always vertically make that thing break the rules or reinvent it, make it more effective.
Right. Right.
So don't look down on any of
On
those
any
things.
project,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Nice.
Do you do any like writing or create stories as well or anything like that?
I tried. I can say I tried. There's a phase I think you gotta write your own material
Yeah.
Yes.
because every time you take something, it may not line up with everything you see, right? So you want to reflect that. So I dive into writing briefly, I think at this phase, this time now, like I'm back to work as a DP more.
Okay.
But I think there's a certain phase I was trying to write that helps me to become more understanding of how story got put together.
Yeah.
Got it.
What's the structure? What are the things that can be shown and cannot be shown. You know, that's all in the writing. Instead, like my daughter, even the other day, I have a conversation. It's like if you write so and so and so is so depressed by himself in a room. How do you photograph depressed? How do you write depressed? Instead, you write someone alone sitting on a sofa and his gaze is staring the empty space between his 2 feet. Now you have a picture,
Yes, because yes,
right? So you can, if you don't
visualize
go
that.
through writing, like you, how do you communicate? You don't base. How do you communicate with someone? Like we all know, stories are important, but rarely we really know the nitty gritty of writing. Like I will tell young filmmakers, like characters are not about what they drove, what car they drive, what house they live, what diploma they have. It's about decision making, right? If this guy walked up, get out of the room, pick up $100 bill, what does he do? That's character. Is it wait there, put it in a pocket, give it to the, that decision making is character. So
yeah.
I think that minimum understanding of story, mechanical stuff, I can at least can spot out things and understand. And then when you read a well crafted story, you knew this is a professional writing. You know, here's how he disposition, right? Like in the film, disposition is the driest thing to deliver, right? A comet is going to hit the Earth in 48 hours, and the travel speed is this much. The impact hitting the Earth will create. So you see the disaster movie. You gotta deliver what is so important to me.
Right.
But that's so dry. You gotta deliver that.
Yeah.
Right.
But how do you deliver that? That's the most difficult thing, Like how do you deliver those dry statistics or
Yeah.
your ground base?
Right.
Like if you're DP, you can help the character how we can visualize, showing that like a West Wing. The way they show it, just like people walking, talking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're so
right,
busy,
Right.
right? They say a bunch of stuff, but you just like, oh, what's just going on? You're from one alley to another room.
Yep.
Someone jumping with a paper. You take the paper out.
Right.
So you create that energy
Yeah.
just to make that disposition less dry, rather
Yeah.
than just find people
Just
sit
people
there and
sit
talk.
there and talk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you know how they write.
Yeah.
They do it. So
Interesting.
writing helps me as a filmmaker that I can communicate with a writer, director, and you that give you a source of finding always a reason to explain why camera is there, why not here,
Right.
why this angle, why not that. Then you can sort of like, oh, even though it's no one is 100, there's no, I shouldn't say there's no right and wrong. There is a better than right position.
Right.
But
right.
you can lead to that
Yeah.
decision by sharing that's your train of thought, that's your logic behind. Right.
Okay. Now, you did mention your daughter. You have a lovely. How old is she now?
She will turn, next week, she will turn 14.
14. 14.
Was she the one that helped with Shorts of America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's only gonna be 14. She's so. I pictured her being a little older. She's so mature. She already knows
Yeah.
like production. She knows everything.
When she was
Dubiety,
12, I
everything.
took her to the set doing a slate. At the end of the shoot, director said, who is that college intern?
I thought she was in college too. She's amazing.
Yeah,
She's one.
So what does she want to do in the
enjoy-
film industry?
Yeah.
What does she want to do in the industry?
Well, because where we live, right? We live in the South Pasadena area.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of parents who are also filmmakers. Like my daughter will come home and say, so and so's dad is a producer at Netflix. So and so's dad is an editor. So and so's dad
She's
is
around it.
It's a grip.
Yeah.
You need a crew.
It's a
Dad,
grip.
let me know. I can find you the crew. So yeah, I guess kids are in this kind of environment. Filmmaking is not. It's not like wow, you know, like
Right,
unimaginable.
right.
It's just a profession, an occupation. Yeah, but I think film, like music, is like, yeah. It's an art that collects everything,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know. I don't know what you want to do. I said you can be you want to do this kind of a mixed type of art and discipline, architecture.
Right, right,
You
right.
know why we live. You know the function of a house, the orientation of the house facing the in relation to nature. There's so much to learn,
There's
right?
so much to learn.
Again, that's all the things. So I don't know. I don't know what she wants to do.
Aw.
Yeah.
It seemed like she's following in Daddy's footsteps. Though. I mean,
She
She
might do something
understands.
big.
I think for kids, maybe they don't need to know the craft of filmmaking, but they need to be sensitive of storytelling. I think my daughter is really like every time at the end of the movie we talk about what is the theme, like why no, something to understanding human behavior better. I guess storytelling. Yeah,
storytelling.
Nice.
yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, we gonna wrap it up in a minute, Jeffrey. We appreciate you being here. If there's one last thing, you know, we get a lot of independent filmmakers, a lot of first time filmmakers.
Yeah.
You know, what is some advice that you could give them, just kind of moving forward in their career to help them jump to that next level, whatever it may be. What can you tell young filmmakers right now?
Mm, I would say just keep that passion for
Yeah.
film. Don't die down, and because there's so many obstacles. It's hard to find people always cheering for you. And then like this is a great like Madge, Veronica, like this is a great setting. Just find a community so you don't feel like you're working alone.
Right.
Like
Right.
I'm DP, I'm meeting a fellow musician and actress. I feel like we can exchange for
Connect.
certain things and
Yeah.
connect. Um, and just cultivate your taste. I think that's so hard. Like
Cultivate your
we
taste.
as
Cultivate
a
your
Chinese,
taste.
like we always saying like
Like that.
whatever you eat, you drink. Like people, like older people, like I ate more salt than you having your rice. You know, what does that mean? Like
Right.
I
Right.
cross
Right.
more bridges than you walk on the street. You know, it's
Yeah.
just I
Yeah.
got more credit. I got more, but I think yeah they just have to keep cult meaning that paying attention to the fundamental.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of jewel and gems in the classics,
Right.
and understand. I feel like the tool just so accessible. Right? Anyone can take a film and make a great movie, a great visual piece. Just because it's so accessible, so easy to have.
Right. Right.
There's not much of a thinking behind the
Right.
act of that.
Okay.
So I just feel like knowing the history, like
Yeah.
everything, when you to a point, like we appreciate the game. We
Yeah.
just celebrate LeBron's,
You appreciate the
achievement.
Right.
process.
Right.
You
Right.
gotta respect
Yes.
people, like where's it came from and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then I
Yeah.
feel like if younger filmmakers have more that fundamental, and not just because it's like so easy
To do.
Right.
they
Right.
understand
Yeah.
the mechanism and
Yeah.
discipline will definitely help you to create your vision of future. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
then just yeah. I feel like that's yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Much more stuff, sharing stuff. Like this festival would be great. Everyone can meet, can share
Can
works.
network. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Great plug, Jeffrey. The
Yes.
Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival is coming soon.
Yes.
Yes.
April 20th through the 22nd. We will be at the Regal at LA Live. It's going to be super lot. Jeffrey, are you going to be able to come? I'm putting you on the
Yeah.
spot. Are you going to be
Yeah.
able to come?
Yeah, I'll come.
All right.
I have my I know that place.
Are you gonna do one of our workshops?
One of my short film was showing in the Regal, right next to the
Oh,
stadium,
okay.
right?
No.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Right
Yeah,
next to
that's a
it.
great venue.
Yeah,
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
definitely. So we'll try to get you on a panel or something. Yeah, we gonna
Okay.
Yeah.
Love to.
One of the
Look, Jeffrey
workshops,
Chu is going to be there. If you miss out on him, you tripping.
Yes.
Go to BHIFF.org. You can submit your film right now. We're looking for shorts. We're looking for features. We're looking for documentaries,
Yep.
scripts, screenplays, all that good stuff. Holla at us, man.
Yes.
Follow us on Instagram at beyond_Hollywood. You can follow Mr. Jeffrey Chu at Jeffrey Chu.
Jeffrey Chu Chu.
Jeffrey Choo Choo.
Yeah, it was taken.
C-H-U. Okay.
Yeah.
But it has been an absolute
man.
pleasure,
Thank
It
you.
Jeffrey.
has, Jeffrey.
Man, it's been wonderful. You've got some great knowledge, information for people. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Mr. Jeffrey Chu.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I am
For
Matt.
watching this.
And I am your host, Veronica.
And this is the Beyond Take Two podcast brought to you by Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. This is episode 5. We are done. We are finished. We made it to episode 5, y'all. Now we get into episode 6. So we will see y'all next week. And thank you for always tuning in and all your blessings and great thoughts and everything. We'll see you next time, y'all.
Bye.
All right. Peace.
Thank you.
Beyond take two, take a walk beyond Hollywood. Beyond the lights, camera, action. Is the hard work and passion. Beyond take two, take a walk beyond Hollywood. Beyond the lights, camera, action. Is the hard work and passion.